Hi there, my name's Jim Lawrence and I'm going to give you a tour of our workshops in Hadley, Suffolk. This is where all the raw materials come in. We buy brass bars, steel bars, sheets. The sheets get cut up over that area here, and the saws here cut up the brass bars. So this area here is where we do all of our machining. That's making small parts and widgets for the lights and fixtures. This particular machine, a sliding head lathe. Currently it is making a little piece for our conduit sets. These are two CNC lathes, and they're making little ends for lanterns. This is Chris, who's been with us a little while. He operates the machines. Our folding centre, where we fold all the sheets of metal to make the shapes that make our lights. Chris here is making an edgeware strip light. It's our laser machine. We use it for cutting flat sheets from brass and steel. At the moment it's cutting a small disc we use to make spun shades. It's very accurate. We've had it for about 3 years and it's made a big difference to us, and it's a very large investment. Our wire forming machine, we use it predominantly for making lampshade frames. Here it's making something for, I believe, a candle shade. We also use it to making hooks to hang up things on our paint line. So you can see here we've got various different hooks. So this is Lee, who's been with us how many years? 25 years. And Lee does all of our prototypes and jigs that we use to make our light fittings upstairs. Here's a spinning machine. It makes all of our spun shades, which are sort of metal shades for our light fittings, amongst other things, and back boxes for lights. You just get a disc like that, a round disc, place it on here, you close the door, press the green button, and this is what we end up with. Perfect back box for a light. This is the tooling required to make the shades. It's taken us quite a while to build these up. When customers ask us to make this 1 inch bigger or whatever, it results in us having to make a brand new tool. All metal, before it gets painted, has to be blasted and cleaned. This area does all of the blasting. And then for things that go outside, we have a Sheridizing plant to give it corrosion protection. So we fill these retorts with zinc powder and put the steel items in there and bake them in an oven. So it's quite a difficult process. This is a paint line where we powder coat and wet spray. They go through a pre-treatment plant to give it corrosion protection, and then comes through the powder coating plant, and then finally it's coming out of the oven now. These are back boxes for light fittings about to be painted matte black. Picture lights that are being painted. I believe this is a special order. This is a vertical milling machine, currently making the arms for raid wall lights. Starts with a big block of square brass here, and this is how it's finished, machined with all the drilled holes and tapped holes. We pride ourselves on using decent quality brass and thickness of it, so you feel you've got something worthwhile in your hands. Area where we're a bit unusual is staff are allowed to bring their dogs in, and as you can see there's one just parked in the corner here. This area here is where we do all of our brass finishing. When the brass comes out of the manufacturing process, it's full of marks where the silver solder went, and we need to clean that up, so it's something you want to put on your wall. The process starts with the brass being cleaned up. It's dipped in various cleaning fluids and aging processes before it goes into one of these rumbling machines here to be properly cleaned. It's quite a labour intensive business doing this brass, and we try and get it right. By the time it finishes this room, it comes out in a nice uniform finish. So it's a very labour intensive process because we don't want this item to be scratched or have finger marks or anything like that on it. It's a very natural finish, and it's aged brass. This area here is where we keep all of our raw material stock. We hold quite a large amount of stock. I think there's 9,000 products that we keep in stock at any one time. Stock control is very important to us and is a science in its own. Our canteen, where the staff can come in, get themselves a cup of coffee, sweets and what have you. We meet here at 20 to 10 every morning to run through safety is the most important thing, and late orders. So if we try and get all of our orders out on time, we generally succeed in doing that, but occasionally a blip will happen, and your order, if it is late, will be mentioned at this meeting with all the team leaders, and we're all invested in getting your order out on time. This is our room where we have a team that looks after the new designs and compliance, making sure our lights are compliant, engineering, purchasing, planning. This is our main welding workshop. We constructed this 2 or 3 years ago, and it's one of the very few air-conditioned workshops, welding workshops in the country, I would say. It's very nice working conditions. So I'll take you to one of the bays. Here we go, making Peacock lanterns. And Steve here is using a jig where he assembles the lantern. We have piped oxygen, argon and propane. It's a storage facility for all of our smaller parts we use in our wiring room. You can see the red light comes on, tells the operator where to pick the bits and pieces from. So in here we have all manner of screws, widgets, you name it, it's in here. Speeds up the operator so they can do more picks per hour, and it keeps everything clean, and it's very accurate. This is our assembly room where we make all of the door handles. We put them together, springs and all the little widgets that go with them. And I think that's what Barney's doing right here. So editor here is putting together some, what are they? They're surface mounting boxes, yes, aren't they? Yeah. Single surface mounting. Yeah, okay. Yeah. This area here is where we make all of our lampshades, curtains, cushions, what have you. And at the moment we are cutting some lampshade cards to be secured to the frames that we make in the workshop. All the fabrics are laminated on a piece of card, which is done on this machine here, and then it's put on this this flying knife where they're cut out. So typically this is how they end up, a scored card with the card on the back of the fabric, and then it turns around and makes a shade. So this area here is where we make all the, we actually finish off all the lampshades, make the curtains, cushions, all the soft furnishing side of the business is carried out in here. Bonnie here is making some curtains, I think. And here you can see Talia's making some shades. Very labour-intensive process. They're all made by hand. And we have thousands of different ways you can have a shade with different shapes, sizes and fabrics on them. This is where we keep all of our finished goods, all neatly put away, ready for dispatching. So once the goods are picked from upstairs, they come down this chute, ready for dispatch. This area is the where we dispatch all of your orders, and Jane and Kira behind me are dispatching away. So this is one of our main offices where we deal with all the accounts. We have an IT section and a web section, and over here our customer sales section. So this is our customer services department, and Laura and Charlotte are in charge.